Hey guys, what's up? Today I want to talk to you about my books. I want to tell you where to find them, what are they, how to get them. So far I have self-published 10 books. That's right, 10 books. But only 9 of them are available. Why? Because the first book I ever wrote, this one right here, this was 7 years ago. And I feel it's very rough. It was a very limited print run. So I think it's a book that needs a lot of polishing and a lot of, there's a lot of cheesy stuff in here that I'm just not really convinced. So I know you guys are very interested in reading what was my very first book, and I appreciate that, but this is a book that I just can't sell for now in any language whatsoever. Sorry about that. But all the other books are available for you guys to read. Alright, let's begin! So the second book I ever wrote was in English. It's a book that you're familiar with, maybe. It's called Terra Gaiden. Now, this is a book that I wrote in English, only in English. It's not available in Spanish, and I wrote in that language for one reason. But the story behind this book, it has a lot of background on why it was written in English. It was 7 years ago. It's a long story that, believe it or not, it's deeply connected to this channel, the existence of this channel. So I want this book to have its own video. I'll probably do it in the near future, but for now I'm just going to tell you all about it. I will leave the links in the description below. This book is about a bunch of mercenaries that are hired by a small militia from a certain continent being invaded by an oppressive empire, not exactly an evil empire, just an oppressive empire with different ideals. And they're just invading, trying to conquer territories and all that jazz. So the characters in this book, alongside the mercenaries, start a little uprising and so on. So it's a book that is very, very influenced by Fire Emblem, obviously, or Suikoden, because it's all about recruiting characters and building an army and then go all out against the Empire. And it's a little bit dark. There's some gothic stuff here and there. You know me, I like my dark stuff in books, and that's my style. But overall, it's more oriented or like as if you were reading a Fire Emblem or a Suikoden novel, as a matter of fact. Anyway, great book, but please remember, it was my very first book written in English. No editing done, just me. So it's a little bit rough, but I guarantee it's fun, cool to read, and it's worth a shot. Links in the description below. The second book I published was in the same year. Exactly like 1 month later after this one. Both were written simultaneously, as a matter of fact. It's called El Ejército Revenante. The English translation will be The Revenant Army. Now this book is very similar to this one. They were meant to be sold as a pair, but this one was in Spanish. It's a long story. I'll tell the story in Terra Gaiden's video, I swear. So like I said before, it's very similar to Terra Gaiden. Armies, characters, mercenaries, building together an army to fight a different empire with different ideals, oppressive empire and all that jazz. It's a little bit dark, of course, some gothic stuff as usual. These books were meant to be part of the same series, but more like some of the Fire Emblem games. Like some of them are completely unrelated, nothing to do with each other, different characters, universes, towns, continents, etc. Right? So it was the same idea. So it's the very same structure, influenced by Suikoden, influenced by Fire Emblem, but is its own book, nothing to do with Terra Gaiden. So you don't need to read one to understand the other. The fourth book I ever wrote and published was also in 2014, almost 7 years ago, in October for a Halloween festival. It's this little guy right here. It's a compilation of 10 short stories. Horror, psychological horror, horror stories, suspense, dark dramas, 10 short stories. It's very short. As you can see, it's like 50 pages long and very small. The only way you can get this book is if you buy any of my books in Mercado Libre, English or Spanish. Just buy them there and I'll send a digital PDF copy of this book to you for absolutely free. All you need to do is buy any of my books in Mercado Libre and that's it. You'll get this guy. Whoa, here we go. This is the book that I really want to talk about and probably the main reason why I'm doing this video. So it's a book cut into 2 parts. The first part was written in 2015 and the second part exactly 1 year later in 2016. And these are Nix Inferno 1 and 2. This is the first one and this is the second one. It's the same book, same story, same characters, just divided in 2 parts, part 1 and part 2. That's it. You do need to read the first one to understand the other one. Now, these books are currently only in Spanish, but I am planning on translating them to English very soon. So by the time you're watching this video, they're only in Spanish as of the making of this video. But if you check this very same video, or if you're watching this video 2 months from now, I'm talking about you from the future, the books might already be in English on Amazon, both physically or digitally. Now, the English version of this book is going to merge into one. It's only going to be one book with both parts into one, pretty self-explanatory. So it's going to be the whole novel into one book in English in Amazon, digitally and physically. Nix Inferno, it's going to be the title in English for this book. And it's about a schizophrenic rabbit who one day meets a beautiful mystical woman. This woman right here is the same character. And she's on a quest to wipe out humanity, to destroy humanity from the world. And so the rabbit joins her on her quest to observe her actions. And sooner than later, they find another character called Madeleine, and she seems to be connected in a very bizarre way to everything that's going on. That's all I'll say. It's a book that is very bizarre, very weird, a la David Lynch, very dark, very gorish, and it's not linear. You need to pay a lot of attention, and you need to come up with your own conclusion at the end. That's all I'll say. Nix Inferno, coming soon in English on Amazon. One book I wrote in between these 2 volumes, also in 2015, was this guy right here in the back. Seven Shadows. Seven Shadows is the only book that's currently available in both English and Spanish. You will find the English version of this book on Amazon, both physically or digitally, ebook. But the Spanish version, you will only find it on Mercado Libre, and it's for sale, it's dirt cheap. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below in case you want to get this book in Spanish, the original version, because it was originally written in Spanish, and I didn't translate this book until at the end of 2016, early 2017 to English. Now, Seven Shadows is a very, very rough book, very hard to read. Most of its fans are girls, as a matter of fact, probably because the main character is a girl who's very disturbed, very pissed off, and she goes on, her name is Alice, she goes on a quest to kill the 7 people that ruined her life. But the book is written from 2 points of view. My point of view, I am the narrator, just narrating the events in 3rd person, and her point of view. It goes back and forth between both points of view, and Alice's point of view, well, she's very disturbed. She's a very hateful character. You're probably not gonna like her at the beginning. She's not a relatable character, but it's a very interesting book. It's short, as a matter of fact, it's short, but it's very interesting because once you get to the end, you understand everything. So at the beginning, it's gonna be like, why is she killing everybody just for that? And then you'll start understanding why, and then at the end, it all comes clear. So, not for everybody, but if you're interested in buying this game, it's dirt cheap right now, the Spanish version in Mercado Libre, and the English version on Amazon, physical and digital. Links in the description. The next book I wrote is one I don't have physically, because there's never been a physical release, like never. It's called The Shatter Sky. It was also published in 2015. Now, this is a book that I salvaged. It's a short story, a 52 pages small light novel that I salvaged from a role-playing game that I did back in 2012 in a forum when we were writing stories together with other people. So the project didn't work, it went to hell, so I salvaged the story and turned it into a small book. And it's in English. It's only available in English, only digitally, and you can download this book for absolutely free. Link in the description. Now, it's a little bit like Gantz the anime, a bunch of characters trapped together in a city, and there's like a game where everybody needs to kill each other, and to get out of there, you need to kill somebody to escape. However, I wrote this book as some sort of demonstration, some sort of sample, like a free demo for people back then, several years ago in 2015, so they can, have an idea of what my writing style was, and it was all just a strategy to get them to buy my other books in English, like Terra Gaiden, and 2 years later, Seven Shadows. So it's a little bit rough as well. It's not that great. You're gonna read this book and probably be like, oh, come on, it's very short. This book has potential. Yes, it does. And maybe someday I'll work on it again, come up with a physical version, full-fledged physical version, maybe 100 pages long or maybe longer, I don't know. But for now, it's just a short story, but you can read it for free. Link in the description. 1 year later, after Volume 2 of Nix Inferno, in August 2016, I published Morgana Code, Código Morgana Code. This is another book that I'm planning on translating to English probably this very same year, but I can't make any promises. I promised you Nix Inferno, not this one, but I'll do my best. It's only in Spanish. Morgana Code is about a secret organization that took over the government and the militia in a nameless city, and its goal is to capture people who are useless, who are stupid, who are pretty much brainwashed, blindfolded idiots, society, the masses, and either kill them because they're hopeless or just train them to become decent members, intelligent members of society. So a small group of employees, of agents from this organization, they start a small resistance to fight the organization because they don't like their ideals and they don't like the classic, the means justify the ends. Let's leave it at that. It's also very dark, very violent. It's anime style like most of my books you've seen so far. Very good, and like I said before, I promise I'll do an English translation of this book. Maybe not this year, maybe the next one, but I'll guarantee sooner than later. And the last book I wrote was published in September 2018, 2.5 years ago. And it's probably the book a lot of you probably are acquainted with because it's the one that I've been promoting the most in this channel. There's a link to this book, The Reaper's Thorn, in every single one of my videos from 2019 and onward. On Amazon, you can find the English version of this book physically or digitally on Amazon, but you can also find this physical version on Mercado Libre. Links in the description. The book is only in English, no Spanish version. This was originally written in English while I was living in England, and when I came back, I just finished the book, polished it, edited it, and completed it. The Reaper's Thorn is what I consider to be my masterpiece, my best book, the best book I've ever written so far. That's just my point of view, of course. It'll be up to you to decide if it's a real masterpiece or not. It takes place during the 19th century in England, Germany, and Mexico. So it involves real historical events that happened during that time and some fiction about a bounty hunter called Darius Thorn, who gets hired one day he's a bounty hunter of the paranormal, so the Church of Nottingham hires this guy to hunt down a ghost, a specter, a wraith that is violently killing people all around Nottingham in England. So as soon as Darius starts his investigation, he finds out this is the very same specter he's been chasing for years because this specter did something horrible to him that he can't explain or properly remember. It's not an amnesia character, don't worry. It's just very messed up and I don't want to spoil anything. There's two main characters in this book, but the second main character is a big spoiler. So the story follows Darius on his journey through these 3 different countries until he meets this second main character, and that's all I'm gonna say. Very dark, very gothic, very historical as a matter of fact. This is the best book I've ever written so far. I hope you guys enjoy it, and you can find it, don't forget, on Amazon, physically and digitally, and also on Mercado Libre. Links in the description below. So that's it, people. All links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching. Those are my books. I hope you read them, I hope you buy them, I hope you enjoy the books as much as I enjoyed writing them. It'll be up to you to decide which is my best book, and don't forget, Nix Inferno, coming soon in English on Amazon, physical and digital. That's all, people. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.